Hrvatska je proteklih godinu dana predsjedala strategijom Europske unije za Jadransku i Jonsku regiju, pa je u Šibeniku održan godišnji forum. Tokarski, direktor je odjela Regio, koji se bavi kohezijskom politikom, odnosno smanjivanjem razlika između bogatijih i siromašnijih dijelova Europske unije. Tokarski u Šibeniku predstavio kohezijski izvještaj, knjigu na 300 stranica s aktualnom usporedbom europskih regija.
Mr. Tokarski, today you also presented the cohesion report. So in 2 or 3 sentences, what would you say that it's the most important thing from the current cohesion policy and your report?
Well, it's not an easy task because it's a very rich piece of economic literature, but I would say that first of all, that we have success, and Croatia is a part of this success. This is this rapid catching up of countries that joined European Union in 2004 and after that. And I think this made a huge contribution to the cohesion. But on the other hand, we see a number of regions that are caught what we call development trap, that stagnate for many years, and this stagnation creates a feeling of frustration and a sort of apathy, which is very dangerous because then it can result in social polarization with all the negative consequences. And maybe one more finding which I would like to emphasize is that it is really important now when the challenges are so complex and intertwined, you have demography, you have climate change, you have economic development, to have a good administrative capacity and good governance. In many cases, the capacity of local and regional authorities to face these challenges is really linked directly to its quality of governance. So I think these are maybe 3 most important findings.
Croatia is among those regions in a trap. You met some Croatian officials during your stay in Šibenik. What did you say to them, or did you recommend anything to them, and what was their response?
Now, I think Croatia is not really, Croatia is affected by some elements, in particular by demographic decline, and I think this is the biggest issue in the country. Also, on the other hand, it has been enjoying quite a success in terms of economic prosperity. And I think if you look at the cohesion report, it is estimated that by 2030, thanks to cohesion policy, the GDP of Croatia will be higher by 8%. But I would say that, you have to look a little bit ahead and address the challenges before they really materialize for you. And certainly one of them is climate change. And generally speaking, the south of Europe is a hot spot of climate change, so this impact will be felt more than elsewhere. The second point is demographic decline, because when you're losing people, you're also losing the skills, you are losing the talents that are often necessary for facing these challenges. So maybe these are 2 the most important recommendations I would make.
Mm-hmm. There are already talks about the future of cohesion policy after 2027. How do you see the future of cohesion policy? Do you expect any radical changes?
Well, that's a little bit guessing job right now. We are only at the beginning of the discussion. We already see the first declarations of the member states. I think maybe the key challenge will be the budgetary one, because there are new needs. There is a defense, there is a climate change, and they will be competing for a rather limited amount of funding together with the cohesion policy. So I think this is perhaps one of the biggest challenge, and the second one is really to make this policy fit for what is coming. Crisis, long-term challenges like climate change, taking account of the capacity of local and regional governments, of the governance, and trying really to bring it forward. So I think these are maybe the 3 elements which will be most important ones.
Mm-hmm. You also mentioned Southern Europe. Now we are here in Šibenik and also at the Adriatic Union Forum. How do you see the future of this macro-regional strategy, and will it be also important in future for European Commission?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Croatia for having a very successful presidency in the last year, which resulted in the revision of the strategy, so new priorities such as climate change or demographic decline. But I think we are meeting here in a very particular moment. 5 members of the strategy, non-EU members, they are just starting their way to hopefully join European Union in 2030. And it opens a lot of perspective in front of the strategy and also for Croatia, because this strategy can really fit in to this accession process with new ideas, with more cooperation, with getting new countries more familiar with European policies. So this is our expectation.
There are a lot of talks about the enlargement, especially after the war broke out in Ukraine. And then, do you think that macro strategies like this one would be kind of, let's say, a state where the candidate countries would stay in the forthcoming years? Is it kind of compensation for the real membership?
Well, I don't think it's a compensation. I think it's a very useful forum of cooperation, which is actually helping the accession rather than replacing it. So I think this would be my reading of macroeconomic strategies, both for Western Balkans, but also for Ukraine and Moldova.
Last year or 2 years ago, also North Macedonia and San Marino joined the club. Do you expect any changes in this format of this macro-regional strategy?
No, it's difficult to say. I think it's always, remember, the European Commission is just observer in this process. This is in the hands of the participants to the strategy. So if there is anything coming in, they will know first. But for the moment, I think we don't see any new members coming in.